And so if you use business credit along with hard money loans, you can leverage that to buy real estate. This is the power couple: business credit, hard money loans, the power couple of using other people's money to build your wealth. I love it. This is the conversation that I love to have. One of the things I talk about on this channel is leveraging hard money loans to buy real estate, using hard money loans to buy real estate. Hard money loans make your life really, really easy, but the reality is you still need to come to the table with some cash. Depending on the market, and I've talked about this on the channel, depending on the market, you need about $50,000 to liquid to actually leverage hard money loans, right? And so you can, I'll put the link to that video wherever so you can calculate how much money you need. But I invest in Philly, and so Philly or market like it, you need $50,000. $50,000 is a lot of money. Or if you use this calculator, it might be $100,000 in your area. And it's just a lot of money to have liquid. So what's your solution? You can use business credit. Business credit is my Jimmy Jam, right? So business credit, this is like not even difficult to get, but if you get it, there are 3 really important things you need to know about business credit. So before we get into this, I need you to subscribe to this channel because I got hundreds of videos for you. Literally hundreds of real estate videos for you. Subscribe to this channel. And I have a goodie for you. It is an amazing goodie. So as we go through this video, there are some calculations you're going to need to run, some numerical calculations, and I have the spreadsheet for you for those calculations. So I want you to download these spreadsheet so that you can get access to it, so you can run your calculation based on your market and based on the things that you're going to do in real estate with your money and your business credit. All right. So let's get into these 3 important things that you need to know. So first things first, if you have checked out my business credit video and actually secured a line of credit or a business loan, you use the tools that I gave you and secured this business loan, first thing you need to know is you really need to massage the relationship with the bank, right? Getting the approval, it doesn't stop there. You want to continue on that relationship even after you have that approval and you've actually maxed out that line of credit. You need to massage the relationship. Why do you need to massage the relationship? Because typically banks that are doing business loans, they also have real estate products that they sometimes will extend to more seasoned investors. So you need to massage that relationship so that when you are ready to get those bigger loans, when you are ready to get some of that cheaper money from the bank, they know exactly who you are. You've developed that relationship. You know about their kids. You know about all the things going on in their life. And I'm telling you, it makes the approval process easier. Here's another reason why you want to massage that relationship for those more attractive real estate loans that they give to seasoned investors. Chances are, if you're starting out a new relationship or if you're starting out investing in real estate, if you have a brand new business, the bank, they don't really like to extend lines of credit to new real estate businesses. So you might actually be getting that line of credit with one of your other LLCs or a management company. Management what? Business management? Sure. Right? It's a new LLC. Yes, I'll be doing business management, right? So you might actually have gotten the line of credit for that. And then you're going to make a loan from that business to your real estate LLC. Once you get that line of credit, you're going to make a loan and document the loan, right? We've talked about that on this channel as well. And then use with your real estate LLC with the new loan that it got from your other business to invest in real estate. So what does that mean? That means the bank doesn't necessarily know that you're a real estate investor. They know you're in the business management sector, right? So you're not going to actually tell them, hey, I know I told y'all that I have a business management business. And I mean, technically you are in business management. Like, you want to make sure that you actually are, like, we're not lying to the bank, right? But you want to tell them this, right? They already know that you have this business management business, and you're using those funds for that business management business. And so we're not going to say, hey, I'm not really doing that. But you also want to say like, hey, I have another real estate business over here. So when they know you have this other real estate business and you're actually an investor, like, hey, I got this business, I got this business. I'm a bomb business person. I also do real estate. And they're like, oh, you know what? Since we trust you, since you're making due on this loan that we've extended to you, like you're doing good by it, we also have some other products. And chances are sometimes those other products are bigger products for bigger deals, but you don't want any issues when you do need that money, when you are ready, when you have graduated in your real estate investing, to actually go ahead and secure those bigger lines of credit. So it's important to massage those relationships even after you've gotten the approval. Okay, the second thing is really important. You need to have a plan for the money. The plan is not just investing in real estate. You need to have a plan for the money, but before you have a plan, you need to understand your exit strategy, also coupling it with the type of product that you're getting from the bank. Let me simplify that for you. Short-term money from the bank needs to be done with short-term real estate investing ventures. Long-term money from the bank, you can do that with long-term investing. Okay, I'll give you an example of someone who does not follow this rule. If you get a line of credit, typically lines of credit have a maturity of 3-5 years, sometimes 2 years. I have a line of credit or two that are just 2 years, the maturity date, right? So if, let's say it's $50,000, the debt service on that is going to be relatively large. So, hey, we're going to give you a line of credit for $50,000 and we want you to pay it back in 2 years. Sometimes it's interest only. Even if it's interest only, the debt service on that is going to be relatively large, maybe $500, $400, something like that, right? Depending on the interest rate, depending on your bank, everything. But let's say it's $500. You don't want to take a line of credit, max it out. Let's say your service on that is $500. Keeping it very simple. It's a 2-year maturity. So you got to pay it back in 2 years, and you use that to purchase a turnkey rental property. So you use that, get a mortgage to put down payment, use that for the down payment, you get a mortgage for a turnkey rental. You're not going to be cash flowing on this property at all because that debt service on the line of credit is too high. So you need to have short-term plans for that. A perfect real estate strategy for the short-term money is if you were to have, let's say you're doing it for a rehab, right? You are using it to leverage it with hard money. When you go to refinance it, when you cash out, you pay it back. It's a game changer then, right? So you want to make sure that you're coupling short-term investing strategies with short-term business loans. Now, what are some examples of long-term money? Something that's like 10 years. Sometimes the bank do 10 years loans. If you have an SBA loan, they go out 30 years. I have an SBA loan. You can use that money to buy turnkeys. I know we romanticize this whole idea of rehabbing, but let's keep it a beam. Let's keep it 100 for those of you who don't know. Let's keep it 100% honest. Rehabbing is stressful. So if you can get long-term money, right? 30-year money, the debt service on that is going to be really, really low. The interest rate is usually really, really low as well. 30-year unsecured money, your debt service on 50 grand for 30 years is maybe $100. I don't know. It's like really, really little bit of money. It's not a lot of money. Okay. You take that and then you use that as your down payment on a turnkey property. And then you're cash flowing, let's say you're cash flowing, I don't know, $600 a month, $500 a month on that. And your debt service is only $100. Can't beat that with a bag, right? So you want to make sure short-term, long-term, right? Short-term real estate investing strategy with short-term business credit. Long-term real estate investment strategy, long-term business credit. Got it? Got it. Okay, here is the third tip. This is really important. You need to make sure if you are going to, let's say, use the short-term strategy, short-term money to rehab a property, refinance it for BRRRR, repeat, do all that stuff, rent it out, everything, right? Then you plan to pay it back. You need to make sure that you have enough money to service the debt. Not just on the hard money loan, but also on the business credit. So you're going to need to borrow a little bit more than the actual funds that are needed for the rehab and the acquisition of the property. So this is where the spreadsheet comes in. You're going to download this spreadsheet, and we're going to hop right over to the computer right now, and I'm going to show you how to calculate how much money you need based on the types of property in your area. So we're going to start out with, let's say you live in Nevada, and let's say the average ARVs are whatever the number is. We're going to take that number of the average ARVs in your area, and we're going to use that to figure out how much business credit you're going to need to get approved for to be able to get busy in Nevada. Right? Right. Well, Las Vegas, like we have to like narrow it down a little bit more. So let's hop right on over to the computer, and I want you to download this spreadsheet. Please, please, please don't forget, download this spreadsheet. Okay, let's go over to computer. Okay, you're going to really have to put your thinking caps on for this. But when you do, you're going to be like, this spreadsheet is everything. It's everything. It's so bomb. It's so simple, but it's so bomb. So I'm such a nerd. I can't wait to break this down to you. Okay, so this top part of this spreadsheet, I hope you remember, I showed it to you when I showed you how to calculate the amount of money you need to bring to a closing table if you're leveraging hard money. Like if you're doing a hard money loan, how are you going to calculate how much money you're going to need to bring to the closing table, right? And I'll link that video down below because it's super valuable video. And I think this spreadsheet there's a version of this spreadsheet in there, but this takes it a next step further. So this is so hot fire flames. Okay, so what we're going to do is use this spreadsheet to calculate a general idea how much business credit we're going to need in order to buy a property, even if we don't have a property a property under contract or a property in mind. It's based on some generalizations in your particular area, in your city or your state. And it'll help you to figure out how much business credit you're going to need in order to pay for your rehab, go to closing, pay for your rehab, and then also service the debt on your hard money loan and on the business loan. Okay. All right. So let's just walk straight through this. So let's say, for instance, you're in a city where the ARV is $200,000, right? So what we did in this top part of the spreadsheet, again, this part is not new. Let's say, for instance, we're looking for properties where the ARVs are $200,000. We're looking to acquire a property at $50,000. We're going to assume we're going to put $80,000 into the property. These are some very rough numbers, but again, you don't have to have a hard property. You just have to have some generalizations about the area and the property. So for this example, the ARV is $200,000. The acquisition is $50,000. You're going to put in about $80,000, which is not so far-fetched in Philly. And you're going to be all in just for your acquisition and your rehab costs for $130,000. So down here, we said, what type of deal is this? It's a 65% rule deal, right? We have lenders that will give you 100% of your acquisition and your rehab costs up to 65% of the ARV. So we did the math here. It's super simple. We did the math here and did that. You can change these numbers here, right? And it'll calculate to tell you the type of deal that it is, okay? If you were to go in, this is really important. If you were to go in over 65%, based on this type of lender that we have, you'll have to bring that difference to the closing table. So let's say the rehab on this property is going to be $100,000. I don't know if you noticed it changed a lot of stuff over here, but mainly this number right here went from 0 to 15,000. And so this is the difference that you're going to have to bring to the table. Again, this lesson is not for this. If you really want the refresher, go watch that video below. But let me change this back to 80,000 to keep it super simple. Okay. All right. So in this next section, this allocation, how are you actually going to make this whole thing work? So we're assuming that we're going to do 5 draws, right? Remember, the hard money lender is not going, you have to front your first draw. And then after you prove that you did the work, they're going to give you that money back and you kind of recycle the money. So your first draw is 20% of the 20% in rehab because you're going to do 5 draws, right? And so 26,000, this is 26,000, 20% of this rehab budget. Okay. So you're going to need to front your first draw. You're going to need closing costs, 5% estimate. I've rounded up. Pennsylvania closing costs are transfer taxes is insane. Okay. It is what it is. And I put for closing costs over here. This is just a reference guide on this of these last 2 columns. What is closing costs? Your title insurance and your transfer tax. Okay. So this just drops down here. This closing costs. What do I mean by title insurance and transfer tax? 6 months of your interest payments on your hard money loan. Let's say you have 12%, which is kind of standard. It's high, but it's standard right now. So 12% of the loan is going to be, you're going to need $7,800. They always charge you points on the front end. Not always, but a lot of hard money lenders charge you points on the front end. What is 1 point? Is 1% of the loan. So we calculated it here, $1,300. Other holding costs. Let's say your taxes, utilities, insurance. Other holding costs, $3,900. Miscellaneous, we just said a 5% estimate of miscellaneous, $6,500. So we totaled it all out. This is what you're going to need to bring to the table. If you want to have put to the side all of your interest payments for your hard money loan, your holding costs, miscellaneous, your hard money loan points, you're going to need for this particular deal, $48,000. Now you see how we're making generalizations based off of the ARV and kind of knowing where we're going to be acquiring properties and rehabbing them at, so on and so forth. Okay. All right. Don't worry about this down here. This is from that old spreadsheet, but what I really wanted you to know, you don't really have to worry about for the purpose of this, but let's just take you through it. What I wanted you to know here is, for a rough understanding of how much you need to bring to the table, what percentage of the ARV, right? So it's $48,000. If you know that you're going to be investing in an area of 200,000, like that's what the ARVs are going to be. What percentage of this is about 24%. So you can look and say, what are the ARVs in the area that I want to invest in? If I'm going to rehab a property, I need to be liquid about 25% of the ARV. Or you can say it's about 37% of the rehab and acquisition. That's what these 2 numbers mean down here, right? I'm going back and forth. That's what these 2 numbers mean down here. This is just rough estimates so you can calculate, hey, how about how much? So if you look in your area and you're in an area where the ARVs are $500,000, just plug and play these numbers in and then look down here, and that'll help you to be like, okay, that's what I need to bring to the table. So we've established that if you're in a market like Philadelphia, you need to start out with about 48 grand, 50 grand. So this is where it really gets magical. This is already magical up here, but it really, really gets magical down here. I highlighted this, like this peachy color. Red, you really couldn't see it. It was too intense, but I'm going to pretend like this is red. It's like peach. You don't have to do anything with this because this is going to bring this number from over here, right? You don't have to do anything with this. So let's say you're saying, hey, I need to come up with $48,000. That's what this spreadsheet, the top part of this spreadsheet says. I need to come up with $48,000. Where do I come up with it, right? You can get business loans. Now, this is the part that no one's telling you, right? Business loans, you're going to have to figure out how to service the debt. It's great to get business loans or even personal loans, but you got to figure out how to service the debt, period, point blank. But this spreadsheet is telling you what you need to get to service all the debt, okay? So let's say you find a great business loan at 5%. Your loan maturity is 3 years, right? So loan maturity in months is 3 years. So on a loan like this, again, I probably should make this peach because I don't want you to, let's make it peach anyway. Just don't edit this, okay? It's this cell. Just don't mess with this cell at all. The green means you can edit it. is going to calculate for you. This is an amortization calculator. It's going to automatically calculate for you what your debt service is, your monthly payment on a $48,000 loan is. Okay. 6 months, right? Let's say you in and out of this project in 6 months. 6 months of debt service. We match it up here because your hard money loan interest payments you're going to have is 6 months too. So 6 months of debt service is $8,600, $8,631.62 to be exact. So the total business credit that you're going to need to service all your debt, so you're for real in and out of this project with no money out of pocket, is $56,000. $56,000. Now, let me just say this. I will round this up to 60 because this is not considering the actual debt on the whole entire loan, right? So if you're borrowing 60, so you're going to borrow a little bit more than the 48. So you're about 56. You're going to borrow a little bit more than the 48. So that's driving your monthly interest payment up. But that's okay. Pad it, borrow 60. Just round it up a couple dollars. And you'll be good. If you borrow $56,000, you get lines of credit here, there, credit cards, so on and so forth. And these interest rates are right. Like if you get a credit card, the interest rate will probably be much higher. But if you get business loans around these numbers and you end up getting that, you for real will be in a deal with zero money out of your own pocket. Let's adjust this. I want you to see how sensitive this is. Let's say the rate is 5%. So let's say, for instance, a lot of times when you get a business loan, they'll say prime plus 3 or prime plus 2. If it's like prime plus 3, you're going to be looking at 7 or 8%, right? So let's say you get 7%, right? And you ask them what the maturity date on this is 2 months. 2 years, 24 months, okay? That drastically changes your numbers. You got to borrow a whole darn near $4,000 more. Or it is $4,000 more. Right? Let's say, for instance, your hard money loan, but you're going to have to actually go into this cell. Let's say your hard money loan is not at 12%, it's at 10%. That changes your total business credit needed. But then this is also another thing I want you to see. Like, people be tripping off of 12%. You just shaved off 2% and it didn't really make that much of a difference. Let's say you're fancy and you get it at 8%. $3,000 is a couple pair of shoes. I love shoes. And a couple hundred books. But that's neither here nor there. I love shoes and books. But that's neither here nor there. Let me put this back because I am going to actually publish this right for you guys, just the way it is. And you can go ahead and mess around with this. Let's say, for instance, that your ARV is, let's say you do end up putting out $100,000. Ooh, let's say you do go over the 65% and it's not $80,000, it's $100,000 on the rehab. Yikes, that changes your total business credit to a lot. You need a lot more money. But that's cool. You're just going to borrow it all. And then they're going to pay their own interest. Right? Let's take this back to $80,000, and I want to show you one other variable that you can edit on this spreadsheet. Let's say that you're in this project for a year. You're going to have to change this to 2 places. Change this at 2 places. You're going to have to change that 6 that was there to 12. Right? So that changes that. And then you're also going to have to change your monthly interest. I recommend that you just don't mess around with this thing, but it's all good. You're going to have to change this to 12. Woo-hoo! Look at the difference if you're in the project for 6 months versus if you're in the project for 12 months. Big deal. This is reminding me about all the money I've wasted lingering around on projects. All right, we're not going to feel bad about ourselves today now, are we? No, we're not.
Okay. Let's change that back to 6. And yeah, that's how that goes. So I'll put it back at 5 and 36. And so this is what I want you to see is play around with this based on your area and the type of projects that you're looking at. And then this gives you leveraging and knowledge power when you go to get your business loans, when you go to shop around and talk to some of these people, and as well as hard money loans too. And but keep in mind, if you can't get the numbers that you want and you're a brand new investor, you can't get the numbers that you want, just, you have to do this with so much discipline, right? Keep in mind that you can always just borrow more money to pay for the interest. You have to do this with discipline. If this is what you're going to do, the way you're going to do it, right? Some of you are fortunate you don't have to use business credit, and maybe you're just scared of debt, and that's okay. Some of us didn't have a choice. It's either borrow or work forever. Right? No, we had to do what we got to do, and it's worked out really well for some of us. And again, I'm not telling you what to do or what not to do. You just have to know what's best for your situation and also know what's best for your beliefs, right? Some people are just really uncomfortable with borrowing lots of money, and they also have like rich families that give them interest-free loans or just give them money. That's also a thing. My son is going to inherit a lot of stuff. I'm trying to put him in a position he's not going to have to worry about any of this. But I'm going to do this so that he doesn't have to worry about it. And so no way is wrong way. I just want you to know that. Okay? All right. Again, download this spreadsheet. If you watch this and you don't download this spreadsheet, you are all the way out of your mind. If this went over your head, just go back and watch it again. It's okay. You'll be like, oh, it's going to make so much more sense. If you watch this, it's like the perfect spreadsheet. I've never created a more perfect spreadsheet. Actually, I have, but that's another time for another day. This is just a perfect spreadsheet. Okay. I love y'all. I want y'all to have an amazing day. Subscribe to this channel, download this spreadsheet, and make a bunch of money. All right. Bye.